So what you're seeing here is a Zenith J615 AM radio from the early 50s. And the reason I have this is because I've recently started watching the videos from Bob Anderson. I'll link his YouTube account. And he does old radio and TV restoration, and he's pretty good at it. So I figured I'd try to get into this hobby myself and try to restore this thing right here. I got it on eBay for not that much money. The cabinet itself is, I don't think it's made out of Bakelite or anything like that. I think it's just modern plastic, I'm not sure what kind. But the set is in reasonable condition. There's some light scratches and some surface residue on there. The power switch seems to work. It's a bit stiff, but that's alright. The biggest problem is the tuning dial or tuning knob doesn't actually move the tuner indicator here. So probably the string inside is all messed up. And another big problem is that well, you might notice that there's no tubes, and that some of the wires are kind of messed up. Actually, here's the tuner string, so I'll have to restring that. But no worries about the missing tubes, because I've managed to find every one of them on eBay, so I have them over there somewhere. So yeah, I'm going to go tear this apart and start with electronics, and start cleaning that up, and I'll focus on the case a little bit later, because I don't have all the products that need to clean this up. But a more pressing problem is the state of my bench. It's a bit crazy right now. I've been working furiously on a couple projects and haven't had time to clean. So a couple rounds of random YouTube remixes and things ought to let me power through all of this. So I'll check back hopefully in a few minutes when everything is nice and clean. Much better. So let's get started. Let's take the chassis out and see if we can't revive this thing. We've got a box of tubes. We should be set. So it looks like to take out the chassis, all I gotta do is remove the knobs up front and undo these bolts here. Well, this is slightly worrisome. If you look at the bolts and the pattern of wear on here, definitely looks like people have gotten into this quite a number of times. There's some markings there. I wonder if there's something bad going on here. I really don't know what the deal is with these wires here. But yeah, I guess I'll find out soon enough. And here's the chassis out. Remember, if you've taken this apart, see these slots here and there and one down there? Well, make sure you push the indicator into one of those slots before you start sliding this thing out, otherwise of course you'll end up damaging the indicator there. I have to figure out how that's done. Looks like it just goes around here. It's not a problem. It's still turning the capacitor. That's good. That seems to be working just fine. Let's take a look underneath. Looks like there's a bunch of paper caps to be replaced, all labeled. Half a microfarad, 200 volts. Can't really read that one, but looks to be pretty simple stuff. Some bodgy wiring there, a wire that's been cut off that goes to nothing. Alright, well, this will be a good first try at repairing one of these things, I guess. I have no idea what that switch does down here. I doubt it's a line selector. Oh, I see. No, I don't think it's a band select or a FM AM switch, because I think this is a AM only set. Weird. Yeah, that cap's seen better days. It's all bubbly and kind of nasty looking. Speaker's in good condition though. Looks like no one's done anything to it. Some dust. Well, I found the schematic using this amazing site that I just discovered. Here's the URL. You can just go down here and, you know, select your schematic, and it found it no problem. So now I have it. The problem is it's in some bizarre DJView or DJVU or something format, which I guess is a competitor to PDF. So fortunately, I'm compiling up a viewer for Linux here that will let me see it. So hopefully that won't take too long. Should just take another minute or so, and we can take a look at it. Unfortunately, Gentoo, which is the distribution I'm using, had that as a package already, so that was easy. Ah, well, don't you know it. The file is broken. Actually, wait, this is the wrong one, but it doesn't matter. Tried downloading a bunch of kind of unrelated files here. See, I've got some Zenith ones, I've got Philco, I've got an Admiral. Try to open them using any program. Let's try WinDJView. I'm running this Windows program here. Doesn't work. Trying the official DJView solo program that was recommended by the website. All of the files give error messages like this. So what if I try events, which is also can open things? Boom, dead. Well, what the heck. Let's try it in Windows XP. We've got my VirtualBox running now. See what that does with the official browser plugin. I bet it's just missing some sort of file that the schematic references, so we'll see. Ah, there's stuff in my lens. Alright. Well, in a classic, you know, obscure format episode here, if I load it up in Internet Explorer using you know, the DJView plugin, I guess it works. So here we go. I got a schematic. Let's see if I can export this as another file type here. Well, I see copy image. Let's try MS Paint. Can I paste? Oh, hey! Oh, I already pasted it. Cool, so I'll just save this as, you know, GIF or whatever, and there you go. Or probably PNG. So the schematic has solved this little mystery. This is apparently a line-in or radio selector. So if you look down here, as you can see, it says phono or radio, so I guess you can use this as an amp for your record player or whatever. That's actually pretty useful, because I was thinking of setting this up in my office, so I can just hook this up directly to my computer, I guess, and not have to worry about you know, AM modulation or anything like that. I can just whack it over to this setting, pipe my line in there, and we'll have retro-tastic tunes. Cool. So I guess next is make sure that these wires are actually mains input. Looks like it might be, although they're really nastily soldered in here. It's just like shorting other places. You can see it. That wire is just shorting to that other wire. That's ridiculous. Who worked on this? That's just coming off. Look, I can just rip this right off. Almost. Oh yeah, look at that. How's that for soldering? Trash. Okay, so I gotta replace that and see what I have in terms of caps. Well, I'm replacing various capacitors, and I think I find out why this thing has gone all crispy. If you look down there, yeah, my camera doesn't like that, but anyways, if you look down there, there's the remnants of the really crappy power cable that was, I think, hastily soldered in by some dude. And I'm pretty sure that shorted out to this guy, because it was pretty much touching when I went to cut this off. So I think that shorted there, shorted to this, and probably blew up a lot of the tubes as well. Alright, so I've replaced all the caps. I didn't have all the right ones, so I had to kind of pack some together. Most of them are just ground coupling caps, so I don't think their values are particularly important. So momentarily I'm going to try to power this thing up. First I think I'm going to oil this thing. This thing is annoying me. There's just a little C-clip in there. Got some of this. Alright, so I found a picture of a semi-working one of these. Kind of get to see how the dial string gets hooked up. I think this down here might actually have something to do with the dial string. And this one just doesn't have it right, but this is the only picture I can find right now of the guts of this all kind of laid out. I also noticed that up here, the wires that, you know, similar to the colored wires, connect up to the antenna, so that's good. That's easy enough to wire up. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have the back of this radio at all, so I'm gonna have to make one or something like that. So it's good to have a picture like this to reference off of. Aha! Thought so. Check it out. That's how it's supposed to go. It goes down and over like that. Looks like the one coming down here goes on the front. There's two little grooves there, so that makes a lot more sense. So yeah, I found this on the Radio Museum. If I can scroll. Oh, that's it. So radiomuseum.org. So this part that I thought was working fine, which is you know, the tuning knob here turning the capacitor, is actually not. Now, as I'm turning this thing stops right about here, and that's the position of the capacitor. Well, it turns out that you need to keep turning this thing, and you know, the capacitor keeps going. And the reason I'm having trouble is because whoever, I guess, repaired this or whatever, or serviced this thing, put way too much dial cord in here, so it's all getting jammed up over here. I think there's only supposed to be like 1 or 2 turns, and there's a lot more down there. So yeah, I guess whoever worked on this didn't like these strings. So looks like there's just a little clip in there that holds that tensioner spring in. Just gonna undo that, lop off some of the string there, and we'll call it a day. So this part that I thought was working fine, which is you know, the tuning knob here turning the capacitor, is actually not. Now, as I'm turning this thing stops right about here, and that's the position of the capacitor. Well, it turns out that you need to keep turning this thing, and you know, the capacitor keeps going. And the reason I'm having trouble is because whoever, I guess, repaired this or whatever, or serviced this thing, put way too much dial cord in here, so it's all getting jammed up over here. I think there's only supposed to be like 1 or 2 turns, and there's a lot more down there. So yeah, I guess whoever worked on this didn't like these strings. So looks like there's just a little clip in there that holds that tensioner spring in. Just gonna undo that, lop off some of the string there, and we'll call it a day. Fortunately, my if I screw this up, my badges at work, they come on little pull strings, and mine pull string thing just broke. So I have a nice spool of lightly used string that exactly matches this, ready to use. So that couldn't have gone any better. Man, it looks like someone really went to town on this tuner capacitor here. I was just turning this by hand without any pull string on it, and hear that? That's not good. So if you look at that little fin right there, you can see it's not lined up over here. So as I turn this, the cap shorts out. So I guess someone was getting really frustrated or something with this thing and gave up. But that should be easy enough to fix. It looks like the plates also make contact down there, just barely. So I'm just going to straighten this out, and I think that should make it all work quite well. Well, I don't really like this tuning capacitor state right now. I haven't been testing various sections of it, and half of it seems to be shorted together, so I think I'm going to have to remove this from the chassis itself and I guess try to fix it in some way. Could very well be why this set was sold off. The tuning capacitor is busted, so I guess I just have to remove these screws here, or bolts. Problem is, they go into these terminating washers, and they're made of some kind of rubber, but it's gone really crackly and kind of crappy. So it'll probably disintegrate as soon as I unscrew this, but frankly I'm just gonna leave this on fauna right now and try to get it accepting a signal, and then we can go mess with the tuner. Alright, so now I'm removing the remnants of the old power cord from there and where the heck, somewhere around here, there, and soldering in this I guess you call it IEC power jack. I don't know if I'm going to use this in the final one, but you know, it'll work pretty well. I'm also going to put a light bulb in line to make sure I don't explode everything if there's a problem. Alright, so I've got my what is a 60 watt bulb here, power input, the bottom is clear. Well, the tubes are in, except one. I'll tell you, motor fuel will get you every time. This is a 35 L6 GT as specified in the schematic and in the tube lineup for this thing, and this is one of those, but the base is different. So I don't know what the heck is going on here, but clearly I have a problem. I might try wiring up this thing temporarily with just some alligator clips or something. Shoot. Well, guess it's time to go back to eBay. So I double checked on Radio Museum, and I checked again, and look, there's the big one. 35 L6 GT. However, the socket is clearly different on that one. However, if on the same website I look up the chassis, so the 6J615, you'll see here that the tube is a small one, and indeed it is a 35C5. So I guess I could try to, like I said, hook up some jumper wires or something like that, but yeah, I think I'll leave that for another day. Okay. Well, not the cheapest tube, but I suppose it'll do. Maybe I'll go digging through this box of old tubes that I have. I doubt I'll find one, but let's see. Well, I've looked through all of my tubes here, and I didn't find anything. Not surprising, since well, my entire supply of tubes comes from old test equipment that was parted out. So all of these are completely different. I think the 35, what was it, C5, is actually the power amp output, so output tube that drives the speaker, so test equipment wouldn't really have any of that. Alright, I'll end for real this time. See ya.